Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. In this video I'd like to show you how to make Esme's winter cottage. This square has been designed by Deidre Ouse from Look at What I Made. The yarn that I'm using in this video is Scheepjes stone-washed yarn. I'm using it in combination with a 3.5mm hook. I'll take you step by step through all the rows that make up this square. Hope it's a useful video for you and thank you for watching. Round 1, I'm going to start with the magic ring. And there we go. Then in this ring I'm going to make a number of stitches. Start with a chain 2. This counts as our first half double crochet. Now in the ring make a double crochet, a treble crochet, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and then work your way down again. So that's a treble, a double, and a half double. There we go. This we're going to do 4 times, so hence making 4 corners. So again, go back up, that's a double crochet, then a treble, so 1, 2, 3, chain 2, then a treble again, 2, followed by a double crochet and another half double. And now you've done the repeat 2 times. So that half double is only once in the middle. Be mindful of that. That's an easy mistake to make. The half double in the middle is only once, not twice. So technically that first half double here is not part of the repeat. So a 3rd time, so that's a double crochet, followed by a treble, chain 2, a treble, a double, and a half double. I'm just going to close the ring a little bit because it gets a little bit big and awkward to work in at the moment. So now I've done it 3 times, need to do 4. The last repeat, so that's a double crochet, a treble, chain 2, a treble, and a double. And now I don't do a half double because I already have a chain 2 here. That counts as my half double. Otherwise I would have 2 half doubles next to one another. So I'm going to close the ring. So just pull that tail as tight as you can. And when you're working away this yarn tail, do that really well, because otherwise your square will come undone. And now I'm going to join on the first stitch. I'm going to do that with an invisible join. You can also do this with a slip stitch if you prefer. I'm just going to open up, cut my yarn, and then open up this last stitch. Then how I'm going to join is with my hook. You have here the chain 2, and then this stitch next to it, that's a double crochet. Insert your hook into that stitch, pick up your yarn from the back, pull through. I'm going to turn my work around, and to the back of the last stitch work, that's this double crochet here, just going to go through the 3rd loop also. There's that little loop back here, that loop, and the back loop of the stitch, and pull my yarn through. it's easier for you, just take the back loop of the stitch itself and pull your yarn through there. And then what you see happening is here you've now created an invisible join, and this is on top. You've made a little hat on top of the chain 2 here. Then that completes round 1, so really pull your circle as tight as you can, and then this yarn tail I'm going to work in a little bit later. But that completes round 1. Round 2, I have a slip knot on my hook, and we're going to start in any chain space, any corner space, doesn't matter which corner you choose. I'm going to start there with a standing double crochet. So it's going to yarn over on my hook, holding everything tight, insert into the chain space and work a double crochet. There we go. That's a standing double crochet you just worked. Double crochet, then chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and another double crochet in the same space. That's your first corner made. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in the middle, that's basically the half double crochet, going to work a treble, chain 3 and a treble. So 2 times over for the treble, then skipping 1, 2 stitches. That means we're in the 3rd stitch, so that's the half double crochet you have in the middle here. Work a treble, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then in the same stitch work another treble. So that's in that half double crochet you have in the middle between your corners. There we go. Now I'm going to skip the last 2 stitches and go to the next corner, where you're again going to work a double crochet, chain 4, 2, 3, and then another double crochet. And then this corner is obviously the same as that corner. I'm going to work with you all the way around, twice over for the next treble, then in the middle, so skipping 2 stitches, and in this case I'm on the invisible join. So it's here with the chain 2, you see there's a chain 2, there's the invisible join. So in that stitch work a treble, chain 3, and again twice over, and in the same position work the treble. Now we're again going to skip the last 2 stitches and then come here to the corner, where you're going to work a double crochet, chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and the double crochet. Just going to work this round all the way with you. That's just as easy maybe. Twice over, then come to the half double in the middle, work a treble there, chain 3, and then another treble again in that half double that's right in the middle. Skipping the last 2 stitches, come to the corner. We're going to work a double crochet, chain 4, and a double crochet. Then your last one, skipping twice over because it's a treble. Again going to the half double in the middle, so skipping the first 2 stitches, and in that half double work a treble, chain 3, and your last treble on that same stitch. Oops. And then skipping the last 2 stitches, we're going to go and close on this standing half double crochet here. So in the top of that stitch, right in the top there, I'm just going to move that little slip knot over. There we go. close. There we come on. Yes, close on that stitch with a slip stitch, and that completes round 2. Round 3, I have new color yarn on my hook, again starting with a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to start in any corner space, any chain 4 corner space. I'm going to start there by making 3 single crochets in the corner. I'm going to pick this corner here, and my first one is of course a standing single crochet, so that's 1, 2, 3 single crochets in that chain 4 corner space. I'm just going to move everything over because we need to jam in quite a few more stitches here. What we're now going to do is we're going to work a treble bobble, and we're going to come down to round 1, and in this position here, so between the posts from the corner, going to work a treble bobble in this space from round 1, the corner from round 1. So a treble bobble is in essence a treble 3 together. So I'm going to do twice over for the treble, then inserting my hook into the chain space from round 1, and you're really going to have to fold your work to get in there. Pick up a loop, then take off 2 loops, take off 2 loops. You can see how I'm working in front of the chain 4 space, being sure not to cover that chain 4 space that you have from round 2, and I'm working in between the posts from round 2 into the space from round 1. So that's one leg. Do that again, so that's twice over. And then next to it you can see how I'm kind of turning my work and bending my work. Get into that space from round 1, pick up a loop. It's 1 and 2. And now you're going to do this a third time, so it's twice over. Again, into that space. So you're making sure that you're skipping the chain 4 space. You don't want to work over that. Pick up the loop, take off 2 loops, take off 2 loops. At this point you've got 4 loops on your hook. Take them all off in one go. We're now going to come back to the chain 4 space, that's for me, that's in the blue here, and work 3 single crochets in that space. That's 1, 2, 3. If you just take a moment to just fashion that bobble, you'll see how it's been connected now, round 3 and round 1, that you've connected them with this bobble here in the corner. So this is the look that you're going for. I'll show you this once more when we're on this corner here. You're going to do a chain 2, 2, and now we're going to do something similar. We're again going to work into the stitches from round 1. Going to skip these two stitches here, and go into the space where you've already worked the V here, into that half double. So into that half double from round 1 where you already have these 2 trebles in that stitch, we're now going to work another set of stitches, and we want to work between the trebles you already have. So after this chain 2, we're going to work a treble, chain 2, treble in that half double crochet from round 1. So it's twice over for the treble. I'm going to insert my hook in that stitch, in that half double. And you can see I'm kind of forcing those 2 stitches apart, those 2 trebles, because I want to work in between them with a new treble. You can see how everything I'm doing now is in front of this chain space here to the back. Then chain 2 and work another treble in that half double just next to it, and again forcing the trebles that are already in there, forcing them apart. And this is what your work looks like. You can see how it's in between these 2 legs on either side here of the blue. I've worked the brown in between there. Chain 2, 2, and especially these chain 2s here on either side. Remember those, they are just incredibly easy to forget. And that's it. That's the repeat unit. This you're going to do 4 times all the way around. I'll show you this repeat one more time. So in your corner, work 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3 single crochets. I'm just going to move them up a bit. There we go. So that I can get, because after all I need to get the bobble in there, and 3 more single crochets. Then twice over, because we're going to work a treble. Then I'm going to go in the chain space here from round 1. You kind of see that space here that's here between the trebles, or the double crochets I should say. Pushing my hook in there, making sure to skip all the other stitches. I don't want anything else snagging on my hook. Then work the first leg, twice over again, and next to it work at the second leg, and twice over work the third leg. You can see how I'm kind of folding that chain 4 space to the back to really make sure that I don't work over it, because you really want to miss that. 4 loops on my hook, taking them all off. Coming back up, so you can fold that chain 4 space back. Now work 3 single crochets on the other side of the bobble. That's 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Now we need to do the center part here, so the same as on that side. So that's chain 2. Like I said, remember this chain 2. This is just so easy to forget. When I made this square the first time, that chain 2, I forgot it at least half of the times. So remember this chain 2. And now we're going to again work a treble, chain 2 treble here in the middle between these 2 trebles here, in that half double from round 1. Just twice over. Then inserting my hook into that stitch, just kind of punch your hook in there, and then kind of force those 2 stitches apart. Work the treble. You can see if you kind of help them, you can really see how you're pulling them apart. Chain 2, and then another treble right next to it. There we go. You can see how you've now worked that treble right in the middle of the 2 trebles you already had. Chain 2, like I say, remember this chain 2, and that's just from my drawing from the previous round. Just catch all that, and then again work single crochets. I'm going to work these 3 here, and now I would again work the bobble, work 3 more single crochets, and then do the V on this side and everything. So what I've just done on these 2 edges, I'm going to do that on 2 more edges, on this one and this one, and when you get here, close on your first single crochet with a slip stitch. Round 4, new color yarn on my hook. We're going to start in the corner that's formed by any treble cluster stitch here, this treble 3 together here. That stitch that it forms, that's where we're going to start. We're going to make a single crochet in that stitch, and the first one is going to be a standing single crochet, followed by a chain 2 and another single crochet in the same stitch. And that's your new corner made. We're now going to work a front post double crochet around the stitch from row 2. So these blue stitches here, that's row 2. So around that first double crochet, we're going to work a front post double crochet around that stitch. Let's yarn over, then around that stitch, work a front post double crochet. Now we're going to come to the back and we're going to skip the first single crochet. And you just need to take a real good look. I'm just going to pull this apart a little bit because you see here 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. So that first one we're going to skip, and on those 2 we're going to work a single crochet on each. But you really need to be careful where that first one is because it's hard, because it can be kind of covered by the corner and the double crochet that you just made, so it could fall over that first one. But that's the stitch where we're now going to work a single crochet. So remember, you've got 3 here, and the last 2 you're working. So that's a single crochet, and also on that third stitch is also a single crochet. And there we go. Now we're again going to work a front post double crochet around the next stitch from round 2. So that's going to be this stitch here. Yarn over. Around that stitch work a front post double crochet. Chain 2, very important, this chain 2, because this is again something that's easy to forget. We're now going to work a puff stitch, and what we're going to do is we're going to, you've got here a series of loops. You've got here the chains from round 3, and to the back here you've got the chains from round 2. Now we need those chains from round 2, and we're going to pull them through the space you have here. So if you look there, you see, oh, there they are. So you're going to bring them forward, and we're going to work in this space here. Skipping, so not working over the chains from round 3, only the chains from round 2. And we're going to make a puff stitch. And a puff stitch is a series of loops that we're going to be pulling up. So I'm going to yarn over for the first loop that I want to pull up, then into that space from round 2. You see I'm pulling it through this front of the V here and making sure your chain 3 from round 3 is really to the back. I'm going to fold it to the back that I don't accidentally work over it. Pick up a loop and draw up. Now, keeping all of this a little bit tight, yarn over, insert into that same space and pull up a loop. Again, yarn over, in that same space, pull up a loop, and one more time, yarn over, in that same space and pull up a loop. You should have 9 loops on your hook now. See, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 loops you've got on your hook. We're now going to take them all off in one go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and while I'm pulling through I'm just going to push the hook a little bit upwards so that you don't snag any of these loops down here, that your hook doesn't get stuck somewhere. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through all of those loops in one go, and chain 1 to close the puff stitch. So that's the puff stitch you just made. You can see those chain 3s, or those chain stitches from round 3, how they're there to the back, and you've worked in the space from round 2. Now you need again a chain 2, just like you have on this side. So technically you're doing 3 chain stitches here. The first one still belongs to the puff stitch, and then 2 more chain stitches. Going to work a front post double crochet around this double crochet here from round 2. Yarn over and then work a front post double crochet, skipping all these stitches here. Go to the first, if again have here 3 single crochets in that first one, going to be that stitch there, work a single crochet, and in the second one work a single crochet. You've got now a third single crochet left before you get to the cluster stitch, and that stitch we're going to skip again, but first we're going to work a front post double crochet on this last stitch from round 2. And now in the corner, so in the bobble stitch, see how you're skipping that last single crochet there, work a single crochet chain 2 and a single crochet. And you can see how this corner is exactly the same as that corner. So what you've just done, going to do on the other 3 edges also. I'll show you this repeat one more time, and I'll go just ever so slightly faster than I just did, but just to show you it one more time. So start by making a front post double crochet around the double crochet from round 2. Skipping that first single crochet, you're going to have to go slightly back and make sure that you work on stitch number 2. You can see how I'm skipping that first single crochet and working on the second and the third. Then again a front post double crochet around the next double crochet, or I think there's even a treble down there, I don't recall. Chain 2, bring up the loop from round 2 through the V from round 3, and fold that round 3 stitches, fold those to the back. Just yarn over also, and we're going to pull up the first loop. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 times you're pulling up a loop, and really bring up these loops to a nice height that you get a nice full puff stitches, so really bringing them up a little bit. Yarn over, pull through in one go, and while I'm doing so I'm just going to push my hook a little bit upwards. So yarn over and pull through all those loops, chain 1 to close the puff stitch, and then 2 more chain stitches for the symmetry with the chain 2 on this side. You can see how everything's free here to the back. Work a front post double crochet around the stitch from round 2, then skipping all these stitches here again. On the first 2 single crochets work a single crochet, so that's 1 and 1, and on this last stitch from round 2 work a double crochet. Skipping that last single crochet, go to your corner and work here a single crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet. Now you can see how you've done the repeat 2 times. So do it 2 more times and close here on your first standing stitch with a slip stitch. Round 5, new color yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in any chain 2 corner space. And I'm just going to pull it a little bit apart so you can really see, okay, there's the chain 2 space. So start in there with a single crochet in that space. The first one is of course a standing single crochet, chain 2 and another single crochet in that same chain 2 space. That's your new corner made. Now I'm going to work a single crochet on the first 5 stitches, and especially that first one, it's a little sneaky. Make sure you don't miss that little stitch. So I'm just pulling it apart, you can see that stitch there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Number 5, that last single crochet falls in your front post double crochet that you have here, that second front post double crochet. Do a single crochet in the chain 2 space, so in that space there, work a single crochet in there. And now I'm going to work a front post single crochet around the puff stitch. So go around the puff stitch and pick up your loop and work a single crochet. So this kind of ties your puff stitch in even more than it already was. And then a single crochet in the chain space again, the chain 2 space, followed by 5 single crochets on these last 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. Now you're on the corner again, where you again work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet in that same chain 2 space. And that point is of course exactly the same as this point here. So what you've just done on this edge, 5 single crochets, a single crochet in the chain space, a front post single, another single in chain space, and 5 more single crochets, and a corner of course. Work all 4 edges, or the remaining 3 edges like that, and close here on your first stitch with a slip stitch. Round 6, new color yarn on my hook, and we're again starting in any chain 2 corner space. We're going to make a new corner there, so again a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So in that chain 2 space, the first one is of course a standing single crochet, so chain 2, and another single crochet. We're now going to skip the first stitch. So if you just look here, you see that first stitch there, that one. We're going to skip that stitch. It's slightly hidden by the corner, so be mindful. So that's a skip stitch you're skipping, and then the next one we're going to work in. And then you're going to work in 5 single crochets. Skipping that first stitch, you can see it's in between there. So that's 1, both loops of course, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets. We're now going to work a front post double crochet around the double crochet from round 4. That's going to be this one here. So that's the so you're going to work another front post double crochet around that stitch. Then pick up your loop and complete the double crochet as normal. So you can see how you're going to frame this puff stitch here. You're going to skip the next stitch to the back. If you go here to the back, you're going to skip the next stitch, and the following one you're going to work in is going to be that one. That's going to be the single crochet that's worked around the puff stitch, so that's going to be the front post single crochet and the single crochet after it. So you're going to work 2 single crochets here. Now again a front post double crochet around this one from 2 rows down. So again around that stitch and work a double crochet. Skipping a stitch to the back again. You can see how I'm skipping 1 stitch, and then work 5 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 single crochets. You'll have noticed of course that there's a slight asymmetry here around the puff stitch. Now don't worry about that, that's exactly right the way we've just done it. Then in the corner, again, am I in that corner space? Let me just, yes, in the corner space. Again work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. And now you're here at the same point as you are where we started. So repeat this on 3 more edges and close here with a slip stitch. Round 7, new color yarn on my hook, and we're again going to start in any chain 2 corner space. I'm going to start in there this time with a half double crochet, and the first one is of course a standing half double in that chain 2 space, followed by a second half double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more half doubles. There we go. We're now going to work a back post double crochet on every stitch, and especially that first one can be just a little tricky. That first stitch, because these are all single crochets, it's a little bit more tricky anyway. So back post double crochet on each of these stitches until you get to the other side, and in the corner you again work 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 half double crochets. So in the corners you work 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles, and along the edges you work a back post double crochet on every stitch. You're going to go all the way around. When you get to your first stitch here, you're going to close with a slip stitch and then just move to the chain 2 space, but I'll show you that this last bit again. So go around, work a back post double crochet on every stitch, and in the corner 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles. So almost to the end of this round, I'm just going to close on that first stitch, that first standing stitch. Just get into that stitch, half double, just going to close on there with a slip stitch, then slip stitch into the next half double and into the chain 2 space. And now we're ready for the next round, because I want to use the same color yarn. Round 8, going to start, we're already in that chain 2 space, going to start with a chain 3. This is your first double crochet, and then repeat with a second double crochet in that same chain 2 corner space, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. Then that's your new corner. We're now going to skip the first stitch, and that's in this one here. You're going to skip that stitch there and start working in the next. And it's actually very nice, because these first half doubles, they tend to be a little bit hard to get into anyway. So we're skipping that stitch, go into the next and work a double crochet. On the next stitch we're going to work a double crochet only in the back loop. So the next stitch, only the back loop, work a double crochet, followed by 3, well, we call them normal double crochet, so through both loops. So 1, 2, and 3. This little bit we're going to do that 4 times. So again, on the next stitch work in the back loop, so only on the back loop of the next stitch. See there, just taking the thread with me from the beginning, so only in that back loop. You can see the front loop is still there, and then work the next 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Do it again. Back loop, double crochet on the next stitch, so only through the back loop, double crochet followed by 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. And our last repeat is repeat number 4, work a back loop, double crochet, followed by 3 more double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. At this point you should have 2 stitches left. You see 2 stitches before you get to the corner. So on the next stitch in the back loop, work a double crochet, so only the back loop. And on your last stitch you work a regular double crochet, so through both loops. Onto the next chain 2 space, going to work a corner. So it's going to be a double crochet and another double crochet, so that's 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And there we go. Come on. Yes, there we go. 2. And it won't surprise you, this corner is of course the same as that corner. So what you've just done, do on all 3 your edges, and you're basically doing is you're working a series of double crochets, and every once in a while, here, 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 and here, you only have the back loop double crochet, and these loops are going to be markers for when we're going to be making zigzags on top of here. So go all the way around, and when you get to the beginning here on your close on your chain 3. Round 9, I have a new color yarn on my hook, and we're going to attach our yarn by making a single crochet in the second last double crochet on any edge. You've got here a corner, so the second last double crochet, so that's going to be that one there. Going to attach with a standing single crochet. So slightly different than before. Chain 3, this also marks the beginning of the repeat unit. Chain 3, and now we're going to skip the next double crochet, we're going to skip the corner, and we're going to skip the first single crochet, and then make a single crochet in the second. So in the second double crochet, make a single crochet. And as such, at this point it doesn't really matter where this chain space is, but in the next round we're going to pop that to the back and then work in the chain 2 space here, but at this point it doesn't matter still where that chain 3 space is. We're now going to start working the bottom half of a zigzag. You see here your stitches, so some of these stitches contain only a back loop. You see that one there, and that one, and that one, and that one, and these are marked points. We're going to be working around these posts of these stitches. So I'll show you what we mean by that. Start with a chain 3, 2, 3, and now you're going to come down to this stitch that has this this little dot here. That's from the front loop, and then around that post, around the post of that stitch, going to work a slip stitch. There you go. And then again chain 3, 2, 3, and you can see how that's making a zigzag there. Now we're going to come back up, and you're going to skip 3 stitches. You can see you're skipping 1, 2, 3 stitches, and the 4th stitch will always be in the center of the center stitch of these 3 double crochets that you have between the dots. You see here's again a part of your dotted line. This is a front loop here, and you've got these 3 double crochets. It's always in the middle, the center one of those 3. You can see how you've now made a zigzag here. So again, chain 3, then come down to the next stitch that has only the front loop, and work a slip stitch around that post. So I guess you would call this a front post slip stitch. I'm not sure that something like that actually exists, but that's what this is. And then again a chain 3, and then come back up, skipping 3 stitches. See, 1, 2, 3 skip, which will again be the center stitch of those 3 double crochets. Work a single crochet. Again, chain 3, come down, work a slip stitch around the post that contains, of the stitch that contains this little front loop that's available there. Then again, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, coming back up. The center of those 3 double crochets is the one you're going for, which always means you're skipping 3 stitches here at the top. Work a single crochet, chain 3, come down, again around that same stitch. You see there's that little marker, so you're not actually using the front loops that are still available. You're using them as a reference point. 1, 2, 3. So you're not working in those stitches themselves. Again, skipping 3 stitches, work a single crochet, again chain 3, come down. This is your last stitch. You see there's that little stripe there from that front loop that's still available, so around that post work a slip stitch, chain 3, and come back up, skipping 3 stitches. See, 1, 2, 3, work a single crochet. At this point you again should have 1 stitch left before you get to the corner. You can see how I've now made quite a few zigzags. You'll notice they seem a little skew maybe. Don't worry, this is all gonna work out fine when we do the top half of the zigzags to make the diamonds. So, chain 3, skipping the next stitch, the chain 2 space and the first double crochet, work a single crochet in the second. And this stitch here is exactly the same as that stitch there. So these zigzags that you've just done here, now also going to work on this edge as well as all your other 3 edges here, and then close on your first stitch here. There you're going to close there with a slip stitch. Round 10, I've got a new color yarn on my hook. It's actually the same color as the background here on the zigzag, so I'm continuing in that color. That'll give you the nicest result if this is the same color as that. Going to start in the chain 2 corner spaces from round 8. So here, these corners here, and these chain 3s that you have here, you really want to have them to the back at this point, that you're working in that chain 2 space there. You're going to be really unhappy if this is to the front, because you're going to need that little loop later on. So you really want to have it like that. Going to make a standing half double crochet in this chain 2 space, followed by a second half double, chain 2, and 2 more half doubles. That's 1, and 2. So that's your corner made, 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles. Now we're going to make an edge. We're going to work on this side. We're going to make a half double crochet in the first stitch, and that stitch is going to be slightly hidden. You see, if I open it up, you see it's that little stitch there, and that one. I'm going to work a half double crochet in that stitch. We're now going to skip the single crochet here and then go onto these stitches that are there in between. I'm going to work a half double on those. So on that stitch, work a half double, so you're skipping the single crochet there. It's 1, 2, and 3. Now you're onto the next single crochet, and you're not going to skip this stitch, so please take note. We're actually going to work that, because that's maybe a mistake that you could accidentally make because you've skipped this stitch. So this one we're going to work. We're going to make a back post single crochet around this single crochet. So back post. So, and because the stitch is facing forward, it is just like that. It's not a front post, because a front post you'd work like this. I'm just going to show you. This would be a front post, but we're not doing that. We're doing a back post. So don't get confused. This is how we're doing the back post. It just looks wrong because the stitch is fallen forward. Work a back post single crochet. The next 3 stitches here in between, again work half doubles. That's 1, 2, 3, and again a back post single crochet. Then again 3 half doubles and a back post single. Again 3 back posts. Oh, sorry, 3 half doubles, I mean. And a back post single. There we go. On those last 3 stitches also work back post. Back post, I'm getting all confused. I mean work 3 half doubles. On this last single crochet, this also again work a back post single, and then work 1 more half double in that last stitch there. I'm going to go to the corner, and again very important, just pull this corner through, because you're going to be very unhappy if you don't. So you want that blue loop, well, it's blue in my case, to be to the back. And again 2 half doubles, chain 2, and 2 more half doubles. And you can see how that corner is the same as that corner. So this background that you've just done, do that on all 4 your edges, and again be mindful when you get here to your next corner, pull your chain corner through to make sure that your loops are all to the back, because you really want them to the back. So go all the way around, and at the end of this round close with a slip stitch. And I'm not going to cut my yarn because I want to use the same color in the next round. So then chain to your corner space. Round 11, I've chained into the, so I've slip stitched into the chain 2 corner space. I start with a chain 2. That's my first half double crochet. followed by a second half double, chain 2, and 2 more half doubles. So 1 and 2. What we're now going to do is we're going to skip the first stitch and then work a half double in every stitch. So the first stitch that we're skipping is actually, if I just open it up, is that stitch there. But this is the first one we're going to work in, so we're going to skip that one. So into that second stitch. See how that's the second stitch. And then simply work a half double on every stitch. That's going to be 25. And if you don't have 25 stitches here, I can guarantee you that in the previous round something went wrong. Most likely maybe you forgot your back post singles, because that's something easy to forget, or something else. So make sure you've got 25 half doubles that you're working here on each edge. And when you get to the corner, you work 2 half doubles, chain 2, and 2 half doubles. So continue, work a half double in every stitch. Here you work 2, chain 2, and again 2 half doubles. Go all the way around. You come to the beginning stitch, close on your chain 2. Round 12. In this round we're going to be completing the zigzag. We've made that a few rows down, so now we're going to be making the top part of these diamonds. So the same color yarn, obviously, as you used for the zigzags already. We're going to attach this yarn in the 8th half double crochet from the corner. So you're just going to have to do a little bit of counting. I'm just counting with you. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 8, that's this one. You can see it's above one of these tips of the diamond, so that half double that's in that on top of your diamond there. That's number 8. You're going to attach there with a slip stitch, like so. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start making the diamonds, and the first one we're going to do a treble to the tip of this diamond here. Now I'm going to make a treble, so that's twice over, and now I'm going to just fold my work a little, because you want to work into the same stitch that already contains this single crochet here from that diamond. And you can see as I've put my hook in from the top into that stitch, and then I'm going to complete the treble. And let me just show you again. Maybe that went a little fast. And there we go. So I'm going to do twice over for the treble. Then finding that stitch where that single crochet is, I'm going to insert my hook in that same stitch where the single crochet is in. And it might actually be easy for you if you just turn your work around, so that you now have kind of the side back facing, so that you can just complete that treble in a good way. There you go. And then I'm just going to turn it back forward again. So now you can see how you've made that treble there. Your slip stitch may have opened up a little bit, no problem, just pull on your yarn tail again. So that's the first leg. Chain 3, this is a bit easier. Chain 3. Now we're going to come down, and around this zigzag here, around that single crochet, go work a slip stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to come back up, skipping 3 stitches. So skipping 1, so skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, then the 4th work a single crochet, and that position should again line up with the top here of the zigzag. So you can see that half double there is worked in the top of your diamond. Work a single crochet. Chain 3, 2, 3, then come down, and again work a slip stitch. We're going to be repeating, Just lost my yarn, just popped out of my hook. There you go. There you go. I'm going to be repeating this until we've done all the diamonds. So again, chain 3, then come back up, skip 3 stitches, work a single crochet, chain 3, come down, work a single crochet, a slip stitch, chain 3, come back up, skip 3 stitches, single crochet, chain 3, come down, work that last slip stitch, and now we're going to do something slightly different. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're here on this last diamond, and now you're not going to work a single crochet and then come down again, because then you're at this point, you want to stay up. So what the pattern calls for, what Deirdre's done, is we're going to work a treble in here, so that, and then we've kind of completed the diamond, but then it's not connected to anything, and then we're going to work a slip stitch. So twice over for the treble, then around this stitch, around that stitch, work a treble. So just like you've done the slip stitches, also around that single crochet work a treble. But you see now your diamond isn't connected to anything, it's all loose here. So you're going to skip 3 stitches and then work a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then in that last one work a slip stitch. And now you've completed your first row of diamonds. Now to get to the other side, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the back you've got this small little chain there. In there work a slip stitch, then chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to come to the next edge, and on the 8th stitch work a slip stitch, and that's again going to be this half double that's aligned here with that diamond with there. If you're in doubt, just count your stitches with a slip stitch. And this slip stitch is exactly the same as that one there where we joined our yarn. So this bit here, working this edge and then going to the back and making this crossover to the next edge. Repeat that on this edge also, and here and here. Then when you've done your last one, close with a slip stitch again here in this same position. You already have a slip stitch. So go all the way around and close there with a slip stitch. Round 13, new color yarn on my hook, the color that's here on the background behind the diamonds. I'm going to start with a standing half double crochet in any chain 2 corner space. Just start there with a standing half double crochet. There you go. And a second half double in that same space. Chain 2 and 2 more half doubles. So 1 and 2. That's your first corner made. You're going to skip the first stitch and then work 6 half double crochets. Now that first stitch to skip, that's really that one there. You might actually not even see it. It's that little stitch there. Going to skip that, then go to the second and work 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half doubles, and for number 6 you might just have to push your zigzag just a little bit over. You see there's still 1 stitch left there. It's number 6. We're now going to work a back post single crochet around the top of this zigzag. And because of the stitches are falling forward, doing a back post stitch actually means just hooking your, going below the stitch, picking it up, and make a single crochet. Back post single crochet. You've got 3 stitches between the diamonds. In there, work a half double in each. So you see those 3 stitches there. There's the first one. It's 1 half double, 2, on the last one, number 3. And now you're at the next diamond where you're going to work a back post single, just like this one. Then this little bit going to repeat until we're here. I'll just work that with you. If you just happen to below here, again that back post single crochet, and then 3 half doubles. If in the background you think, what am I hearing? This deep breathing sound that almost sounds like it's snoring. That would be my cat. He's lying on the couch and he's fast asleep. He's an old man already. He's 14 years old maybe. We're not quite sure because we adopted him from the shelter, and they had to kind of guess how old he was because he was a rescue off the streets. And now he's enjoying a restful old day. And he sleeps a lot. So almost to the end here. And 3. There you go. And then on this last one, need to do a back post here also on this stitch. So back post single crochet around that last one. And now on the last stretch, you're going to do 5 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those last 5 stitches. That one is the first one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next up is the corner. 2 half doubles, chain 2, and 2 half doubles. And this corner is exactly the same as the corner we started with. So you're going to work on these other 3 edges exactly the same as we've just done. Get to your first stitch, this standing single half double here, and close on that with a slip stitch. Cut your yarn and work away your tails. Round 14, I have a new color yarn on my hook. You can, by the way, also do round 14 in the same color as the previous round. It's all up to you. I'm going to change colors. I'm going to start in any chain 2 corner space with a standing single crochet. Chain 2, and again a single crochet in the same space. That is your corner made. You're going to skip the first stitch. It's going to be that one there. Then on the next stitch, start with a single. And then work a single crochet on every stitch across. And that's going to be 31 in total. That will bring you to the other side. And then from there, again work a corner when you get to the chain 2 space. So again a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then repeat your next edge, remembering to skip the first stitch, then work a single crochet on every stitch. Go all the way around, and when you get to your first stitch here, close again with a slip stitch. Row 15, I'm going to start with a new color yarn. Just quickly put a slip knot on my hook. Then we're going to start with a standing single crochet in any chain 2 corner space. going to pick that space there and attach with a single crochet. Chain 2 and then make another single crochet in the same space. So that's your new corner made. Now I'm going to do a back post half double crochet on every stitch across. That's going to be 33 in total. Especially the first one's always a little tricky. So yarn over, around that first stitch from the back post half double. You're going to do this around every stitch. And when you get to the other side, in the chain 2 corner space, work a new corner. So again, a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Go all the way around, working a back post half double in every stitch. When you get to the first stitch, your standing single crochet that you started with, one here, close there with a slip stitch, and don't cut your yarn, because at least in the next round I'll be using the same color. If you want to change colors, you're of course more than welcome to. I'll however be using the same color yarn. So go all the way around, corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and along every edge a back post half double crochet. Round 16, currently in that single crochet that we started with, I'm just going to slip stitch into the chain 2 corner space. Now we're ready to start the first corner. Chain 3, that's your first double crochet. In the same chain 2 corner space, work another double crochet, chain 2, move everything up a bit, and then 2 more double crochets in that same space. And 2. That's your first corner made. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. We're now going to work a double crochet across in every stitch. Be mindful that you skip the first stitch. So we're going to skip the first stitch. That's going to be that one. Then in the second, work your first double crochet, double crochet. Then your corner will just kind of fall over that first stitch there. And then work a double crochet in every stitch. You're going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to work double crochet on every stitch, skipping the first stitch. When you get to the corner, work 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. You're going to do that all the way around. When you get to the first stitch, close on the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. Continue like this and go all the way around, and be mindful, remember to skip that first stitch. Round 17, last round of the square. Got a new color yarn on my hook. I'm going to attach in any chain 2 corner space with a standing double crochet, followed by a second double crochet, chain 2, and then 2 more. And that is your corner made. 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. For the last round, I'm going to work a double crochet on every stitch. And do that all the way around. When you get to a corner, you work 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles in the corner, in the chain 2 corner space, and on every stitch you work a double crochet. And when you get to your first stitch, it's going to be that one there, close on there with a slip stitch. When you've finished your square, this is what it looks like. Work away your last yarn tails and block your square. You can play with color variations to give nice effects with the yarn. On my blog I've got more color variations for this square also. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again for a new project.